Hi, WFMers out there. I'm your host, Irina, and this is WFM Unfiltered, a podcast by Right WFM, the place where we share the truth about workforce management. So get comfortable and listen closely. Hello, everyone, and welcome to WFM Unfiltered, a podcast by Right WFM. I'm your host, Irina, and today we're traveling to Antwerp, Belgium, and my guest is very opinionated, and I'm sure that it is a topic that everyone will enjoy because it's one that's a bit more on the controversial side of things. But before we kick off with it, hello, Dimitri, how are you doing?
Hello, Irina. I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. We need to agree because actually, this is our second recording. The first one we absolutely wasted, unfortunately. So let's hope that we don't lose the second version of the podcast. But before we kick off with the topic, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes. So I'm Dimitri. I actually live in Sint-Truiden, but I'm born and raised in Antwerp. I'm a consultant in operational WFM and AI stuff. If I have to say it like that. I'm a huge fan of Irina, so I follow the podcast. I try to be always online when the podcast is live. And yeah, we had a bit of a disagreement about a certain topic within WFM, and that's why we will have the podcast about it. Because yes, I'm very opinionated, but Irina is also very opinionated, so we will have a nice discussion.
Yes, we did have a lot of discussions in the previous one. I feel so bummed out that we lost that audio. But let's try to redo. Let's try to argue with each other again. So
Yeah,
actually, the topic that we seem to be disagreeing a lot about is empathy in WFM teams. So Team Irina is we need to have a lot of empathy towards the agents and towards team leads and the operational side of the organization. Team Dimitri thinks that it is a bullshit. So please present your case. Why empathy is not for WFM teams?
because it's not their role. It's not their role to be a pet, and the role of WFM is make sure they have a planning that covers needs to reach the KPIs and the real time manager, the trafficker. His job is to reach the KPIs on that day, and that's his only task. He's responsible for the numbers, and he's not responsible for the people. We have team coaches for that. We have operational managers for that, and it's their job to be empathic. It's never the job of WFM to be empathic. Very outside of very severe cases. Yeah, you don't have to be mean. So of course, sometimes there will be empathy needed, but in 95% of the cases, no, there is no need for WFM for empathy in WFM. WFM WFM should make sure that the KPIs are reached and that the cost to reach those KPIs is as low as possible, and that's it.
But I honestly think that we're doing a very good second parter because I find myself exactly as building up as the previous time. We do work with numbers, but people are representing part of these numbers. So how the hell can we achieve the results if we just don't give up about the people?
Because it's not our job. It's the job of the team coaches to make sure that the people are heard and they can come talk with WFM if there's a problem, and then we will see if it's possible with the numbers. Yeah, we can do an exception, but it should be possible with the numbers, and it's the job of the team coach to talk with the advisor to tell them why, or a request was refused or accepted, and that's it. If VFM starts to be empathic, it will go out of control. The cost will be way higher because you send people, for
Or way
example, you
lower.
send,
Or
huh?
way lower because the more you care about your people, the less probably attrition you're gonna have in the organization.
But why do you think that's the job of VFM and not the team coaches? Because it's just roles. If the trafficker would be a team coach, yeah, he needs to be empathic, but it's a trafficker. he should not care. He should only care about his numbers.
Yeah, no, they absolutely should care because I do think that they need to work in collaboration with team coaches. And feel that a lot of WFMers are actually hiding behind it's the role of the team coach, it's the role of the team lead, and they're creating bigger issue than rather just speak, whether it is with the team coach and the agent all together and just explain the situation and find solution. But a lot of WFMers, I'm sure you have seen that as well, are just point blank. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. A lot of things are possible, but sometimes we also don't want to do the extra mile to figure out a solution because it's extra work for us.
Correct.
So you think the extra work does not justify a happier employee? In the
Depends, because what do you mean with extra work? If you a lot of small demands can become a great task in
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and your schedule will not be finished because you had all that extra work for demands that the team coach should have handled. It's not.
Let me give you an example. An agent comes and says, you know what, I urgently need to go out or whatever. And you say, no, it's not possible because I need you here because our queues are struggling, the service level are declining, and you refuse. Then you explain that to the team coach. The team coach goes, says that to the person, and the person says, well, I need a solution because otherwise I'm just going to take sickness leave or I will just leave because I need to do that. So the team coach comes back to you, and then you basically repeat the message. Whilst actually you can review the schedule, you can identify potential people that are going to be able to either stay longer and you compensate them on a different day with these hours, either make some sort of a shift swap, either even ask the team lead if they can figure out a solution. This represents an extra work for you, right? Because your initial reaction is it's not possible. I need you here. But the issue that you're causing short and long term is much greater than the amount of time you're spending to find a solution for that person.
But I'm sorry, I totally don't agree. It's
Yes.
you're a WFM person. You're not a caretaker. Take your responsibility. The team coach can, for example, the team coach can overrule the trafficker. I don't care. We can
No,
decide
that I
those
don't.
roles. If the trafficker says no, and the team coach talks with the advisor and he says, yeah, he's still going because he's not. It's really necessary. Yeah, okay, that's okay. I'll write in the logbook. The team coach agreed with him leaving. If there is a problem with the SLA the day after, yeah, you get the logbook. It's not my problem. So I don't agree. If you have to stop your work every time somebody has a problem, yeah, you
But
need to
that's your
become a team.
work. That's literally the essence of a WFM's work is to make things happen, right?
No, the essence of WFM is make sure the KPIs are reached. WFM is, in my opinion, if you make a forecast and a capacity planning, the
Yeah.
capacity planning, you look at the cost because you need to make sure that you don't have too much capacity for the volume you will receive or you will go broke. So that's already a very important part. And then a lot of you work in a lot of contact centers. A lot of contact centers are really, really, really sharp staffed, really like on the edge of being understaffed.
Mhm.
You cannot have all that bullshit on top because then you will lose KPIs because you already have a lot of stress to reach the KPIs with the staffing you have. And then you expect the WFM person to take the extras. It's the job of the team coach and
No,
the lines.
no, I don't understand why you're taking it to that extreme. Why can't they work together? Why? Because this is the whole reason why there is so many issues between team leads and WFM because everyone is saying that's the job of the team lead. No, that's the job of the WFM, and everyone is passing the ball to one another. And if they work together, and actually, there's one more thing that I disagree. If you're looking at the KPIs, you're looking for them over long term as well. So by not applying a solution right now on short term, you might be causing bigger issue long term because if your employees are unhappy, they're gonna quit. By the time that you get new employees, train them, become productive, your KPIs will suck anyway, right? So even if you're selfishly looking at the numbers, supporting employees will produce better results.
Yeah, if you make snowflakes out of everyone, then you'll get. It doesn't work like that. I don't understand that we pay those people to do their work, and this should not be a matter of being happy or being unhappy. You get paid. If you don't like the job, leave, by all means. They will leave. They will leave eventually anyways. They will find another reason in their head why the job is not good for them and why it's an evil company. And well, the facts are pretty clear. If you look at BPOs, the contact centers, they work on a margin level that is almost ridiculous. You have to be realistic. I think it's only supermarkets have a lower margin level than BPO contact centers. So they are on a very thin edge between making a bit of profit or losing a lot of money. And WFM is a huge part of that, really a huge part. It's like 60% of that is WFM. Only WFM will make sure that border is not crossed. And if they have to start coaching, being like coaches when you reply to advisors why something is not possible, or you will look for a solution, and I will talk to everyone to get a shift swap. No, they can't talk to everybody. They ask your colleagues to get a shift swap. I will agree with the shift swap with no problem. If you come with a solution towards me, yes, of course, by all means, go. But if you come to me when it's not possible and you're asking me to find a solution, sorry, that's not my
But
job.
how would they know? Because you're saying that the job of the WFM is to meet the KPIs, right? I
Mhm.
think this is, yeah, of course, biggest part maybe. But I think our approach to it, it's different because it's not the job of an agent to understand all of the dependencies and to know what kind of solution it will work, because they only get a schedule. They don't even know what your predicted service level is gonna be. How are you? Are you over? Are you under? Who works on what? Their job is that's your schedule. You're gonna be working on that task. What kind of a solution they come to you with? They don't
With a
know what
shift,
to want.
with a shift swap, for example, or with something else, I don't know. I don't care what kind of solution.
Well,
Check with your team coach what solution is possible, and we can check afterwards. But I'm not there to look for solutions. I'm not going to look for a shift swap for somebody. They all have teams. They communicate with each other. Ask your colleagues if somebody wants to swap. I don't know, but I'm not gonna do that. Sorry. So,
so you're telling me that you prefer that they potentially lose much more productive time, not only for themselves, but for all the people that are distracting from their job to look for a solution rather than come to you and you figure out what's possible. Because
but
that's,
I already said it was not possible.
but you have,
I already, I already said to the agent, I'm sorry, the numbers do not allow it. It is not possible. I say that with a reason. I would not say that because it's not true. If the numbers don't allow, I'm honest. I'm not lying. The numbers don't allow it. I cannot let you go.
but
And
don't you think that this is
it, it should end there. It
no.
should.
What do you think this is the reason why working in contact centers is so undesirable? Because you have a lot of pressure from dealing with customers. Customers actually taking it out on you because you're picking up the phone 30 minutes later because your contact center is understaffed. The pay is not great. Let's face it. The pay of an agent is never like, wow. And then you're getting screamed about your performance by your team lead, but then you also can't have any sort of flexibility in your schedule. So maybe that's a reason why we can't get people in the first place to work in contact centers.
But that's a complete different discussion. That has nothing to do with empathy with WFM. Because I agree. I
There,
agree with
because
what you.
you can help,
I,
you can
I, I,
class.
I agree with what you're saying, but that's not where Vim needs to solve that. That's a fault of the contact center industry and of the customers of those contact centers are a huge part of that. Not the customers who call in, but the clients where the contact centers work for are a huge part of that. I don't know if you ever were involved in RFPs, for example, but some world famous customers, they do an offer where you can hardly pay your people with the minimum salary with, or you lose money. And the competition is so sharp because in Belgium we have a lot of contact centers who go abroad. They have contact centers in Turkey, in Morocco, in Bulgaria. Name it. Suriname is getting big now. South Africa is getting big. So they're spreading around all over the world because they need to pay a lot less money there to their employees. And I think in those countries you can be more lenient because you can have more staff for the same money, a lot more staff for the same money.
Mhm.
But here in Belgium, as an example, in a contact center, a good contact center, and you have like 16, 1700 euros monthly, and most of the time like meal vouchers. That's an extra you get. So it's not wow paid, and you have a lot of stress. And I agree. I totally agree with you. But that's not the fault of WFM. That's the fault of how the contact center industry works. The A lot of clients of the contact center expect heaven, and they want to no, they expect a Mercedes S500 full option, and they want to pay for a Dacia, and that's the biggest problem. And the biggest problem is that we still have contact centers who accept that, and the biggest victims of those deals are the advisors. I totally agree with you. But it's not the task of WFM to solve that. We cannot solve that. It's contact center life in Western Europe. C'est la vie. And to change that, you need to change the complete contact center industry. I'm gonna send you something later on, a presentation about something I thought about a few years ago. Because in contact centers, a lot of clients, a lot of big clients, famous clients, they still have an SLA. Like you have to pick up 80% of the calls within 60 seconds, as an example.
Yeah.
And I turned that completely around, where we will not measure how fast is the client helped, but where we will measure how good the customer is helped, so that it would be a complete different environment for the advisor. You would have a huge customer experience, and because I think service level, where you have to have 80/60, 80/30, it's old fashioned, it's ridiculous, and it should go. It should go. We should have XLA. It's called experience level agreements. So what the, the customer had to wait for 3 minutes, yes, but look at what the customer's replies were after the call, because you can measure that after the call. He had an amazing experience and he became a fan of the company. And the advisor had time to talk with the customer, and there was no pressure on ASG because you pay your advisors in a complete different way. I will send you everything, but you need to keep it confidential because it's not uh, it's not out in public. I will send it to you, the presentation, but it's a complete new way of how customer contact center should work.
Mhm.
And it's also, again, out of my idealist mind, because eventually it was not accepted, sadly. But that's the biggest issue: the pressure and
Mhm.
the the what the clients are willing to pay to handle their customer service is just customer service is for 90% of the clients a cost and not an added value. And that's the biggest issue. And yes, advisors are the biggest victims of that. I totally agree. But it's not up to WFM to change that. We cannot change that. And so we should focus on what is our task. And our tasks are the numbers.
I feel like with what you said about the service level and the experience level, we sort of started being on the same page. But to bring you back to the topic, I'm not saying that it's our task from WFM perspective to solve it. I'm saying that we can do a lot to lessen the impact of the stress at the job. Because let me give you another scenario. Imagine that you are the planner or the trafficker, it doesn't matter. And you have 100 agents that you're supervising. And some of them, because that has happened to me quite a lot, some of them comes with you with some sort of family emergency. It's just from human perspective, you can't say no. You're not gonna go to the hospital to see your child, for example. So you say, okay, go, right? Because again, this person is gonna go anyway. They're just giving you the heads up. A second person comes with something completely different. The third person comes with something completely different. But for them, for their lives, this is an urgent situation that they need to adhere to. And you're saying that basically we because you said we can do an except, but what is your merit for those exceptions? How you decide that some person is more important than the other one?
But wait, let's go back to the beginning of what you said, because you said agents came to the planner.
Or to the team lead, doesn't matter. Let's say that they are parts of different teams, but they are.
Yes, because agents should not go to directly to the planner. First of all, it's not the planner who needs to decide or needs to be the spokesperson for the agent or the contact for the agents. The agent should go to their team coach or go to another team coach. And the team coach should go to the real-time manager or the planner, whoever who's responsible for the schedule, and
Okay.
check with them if it's possible, and explain also why the request was made. And if somebody comes to me as a planner or a trafficker and says, yeah, her child was taken to the hospital, she needs to go, I'm going to say, yes, I'm not inhuman. That's something completely different. Uh,
Mhm.
Even if the numbers are rich, it has no use to keep her here. Her child is in the hospital. So please, by all means, go. But it should not be the agent who comes to the planner. It should be
But
the
if
team coach who comes to
you
the planner.
disregard that, because that's a completely different topic that I'm very curious to explore, because I have a bit of a different view. But let's say that the team lead comes to you, presents you with the case, and you say, yeah, okay, go. But then another team lead or even the same team lead comes because there's a second or a third person coming with their personal reason. So, but you already have let go of one person. So your initial instant reaction, I was already struggling with the service levels. I already let one. I can't do more. But they might have urgent reasons as well. And we're not even looking for solutions for them. So how do you bring the message? Well, your reason is not important enough. It might be the same reason. Let's say
But
there's an outbreak of something.
if it's the same reason, you're gonna let them go. Huh? You cannot be inhuman. You need to, but you will communicate it to the team coach like, yeah, this is fucked. The service level will be gone for today. But yeah, c'est la vie. Let them go. Their child is in the hospital. So yeah, that's life. I
Mm.
would let them go. I'm not inhuman, but as long as it is the team coach who comes to me and explains it me in a
Mm.
proper way, and not you have to let them go, but really explain me the situation, I will let them go, because otherwise you would be an asshole, and that's not the way the way to live. And so yeah, that's a complete different situation. But I have advisors who came to me. I need to go home because my dog fell off the sofa.
The dog might have been very old. Must
No,
have been injured.
he was not old, and there was nothing wrong with the dog, but my dog fell off the sofa. He said, I have to go home. And really crying and everything. Are we crazy? What do you think this is? Fairy tale country? Go back to your place and work. It's your dog fell off the sofa. It's not like your dog fell through the window. The dog is okay. You will see him tonight. Uh,
I think this we're taking it now to extreme because I can agree with you. I have heard my fair share of ridiculousness last minute. And I think that this is another thing that because it's so difficult to get the last minute change or amendment to your shift, people are coming with all sorts of different reasons and sometimes like fake up reasons just in the hopes, okay, there's something new they haven't heard and they will not say no to me because I'm coming with that reason. But I think if we spend enough time and attention to the agents, they're going to compensate us back. So, for example, okay, let me give you completely another scenario. Say that
but
there.
wait. Let me reply to what you just said, because I know advisors whose grandmother died 6 times. Huh? So yeah, it's not that they are making up a new reason to no. We need to accept that some advisors are just lazy advisors and are not. If you Most of the time, it are also the advisors with the KPIs of la merde. If you look at the HT, if you look at everything, those with the toilet breaks, everything, those will be the advisors with the highest percentage, the highest HT, and they have seen grandmothers who died the past year, and they have thousands of excuses. And I know I'm being very cynic, yeah, because but I am very cynic. I'm sorry, I'm a cynic person because I saw it all and I heard it all, and I discovered so many bullshit lies. Yeah, sorry. I had advisors who called in sick for a week and then were so stupid to put vacation pictures on Facebook. on the beach, taking pictures. So,
I understand that when you're saying you're too cynic, I have heard the same, and I think it's not necessarily laziness. Sometimes people just, for me to say 6 times that your grandmother has died is a completely different definition than stupid. That is just something, or lazy. I'm sorry, what you mentioned. For me, I would question your integrity, first of all, because if that's your integrity towards your, I don't know, family, the way you live your life, I would question how are you doing your job. I have heard the same with a different family member, and I understand how frustrating it is from planning perspective because it's like taking the piss. But I still feel that you know what? We are sometimes so frustrated, and I have seen that with people in my team. We get so frustrated by those individuals who are obviously not sick, who are obviously their grandmother is alive and kicking. And every single person after that that comes to us or to the team lead and the team lead comes to us, we're so frustrated with the situation that we almost take it out on the other innocent people, and it's a shame because they become victim by someone who there should be another solution about these people anyway.
but that's again, because now you're going way too far. Like everybody is an individual, and we should look for the solution for every individual. I don't give a fuck. We have one group who needs to reach the service level, and I'm not gonna be worried about every individual in that group. It's not the team coach should do that. I don't care.
No.
I will be human, and if something happens, and it's really a bad thing, yeah, please go. I'm not inhuman, but I'm not gonna search for how do you say it, a one fit solution or a special fit solution for every individual who has a problem. Yeah, that's so socialist that I can totally not agree. That goes into the complete idea of being in a society where people take care of themselves. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna pause you here because just as a gentle reminder, we're not going into the politics of the second part of our
Well, yes. Sorry.
but before we wrap, I'm gonna present you with my last case why I think, and this is at least my approach, why it's better to find the individual solution about everyone. You mentioned yourself that a lot of organizations, and I completely agree, are either understaffed or very close to be understaffed, right? Potentially, every single thing that it's causing more stress can lead for you to become even more understaffed. So, in a lot of organizations where I have worked, there's a lot of time overtime introduced, right? But often that overtime is even last minute. Often, let's say 5 people fell in sick on your Friday, surprise, surprise, for one or another reason, and you need to find someone to be there to cover the late shift because all of your people that were supposed to be late shift suddenly went absent. And you need to ask for someone to cover. Well, imagine that you have a potential of 2 people that can stay longer and cover your late shift. Unfortunately, those are the same 2 people that came to you to ask for something, and basically you tell them to fuck off last week. Isn't that better for you? If only we have spent 5 minutes of our time figuring out a solution for them, and they actually support us back a week later when we need them.
No, because if you look at the total contact center, the people who have issues like that in a contact center, you have to think about like it's like 15% of the contact center who were really um, agents, 15-20% maximum, who are really problematic agents who have issues every week and want to go home every week. And so no exceptions. It's a weekly exception. And those people, if they say no, I don't give it. I have 80% of other people who also have an incident here and there or an exception here and there, which I accepted because, like I said, I'm human and I'm not an inhuman person. But no, I think if we keep on searching for no, we create an environment where everything needs to be accepted because WFM can solve it. No. WFM is busy enough with making sure the numbers are reached and the staffing is just on point, so you have a margin on what you earn, and you're not losing money. That's the task of WFM, and that's already so stressful. Believe me, I did it for years. It's so stressful. You cannot be worried all day about other people's problem. That's there again. I cannot say it enough. We have team coaches for that. And if a team coach comes to me and this is the story, he needs to go. Yeah, okay, then he needs to go. Point. That's the end of the story. But I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna look for a solution. I will probably look for a solution after that, because if you're understaffed and I can get somebody else working for the rest of the shift, yeah, I will do that. Can you work somewhere? Yeah,
When you
that's
need
not.
them. So when
But that's
you need them.
that's not looking for a solution for that advisor. That is looking for a solution for my numbers.
What do I do with you? Honestly, tell me, what do I do with you? Okay.
Yeah, but it's true.
Okay. I
It's roles. WFM's role is numbers.
I have not managed to convert Dimitri to Team Irina, but it was a very nice, heated discussion. So thank you so much for this one. I
Yeah,
very keen to make another one of team leads responsibility versus WFM responsibility. So definitely invite you for this second parter. But thank you so much for spending the time with me. I'm very curious to hear what everyone's opinion is on that topic. And that's a wrap. Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Irina Mateva, founder of Right WFM, where we believe that every business and its people are unique and deserve the right solution to their challenges. If you need support with workforce management, we're just a message away. Get in touch at Irina at rightwfm.com or info@rightwfm.com. If you like the content and would like to support the show, please subscribe to WFM Unfiltered on your favorite podcast platform, leave a review, and follow me on LinkedIn. You can also show some love to our great sponsors. For more information about them, check out the episode notes. This is your place for real WFM, so to suggest guests or topics, get in touch at Irina at rightwfm.com. See ya!